Hello, and welcome to the Sleeping Dragons podcast. I'm Dylan with Tucker.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. We are doing a review about Elden Ring today. As you know from the intro episode, we are going to be reviewing a whole lot of games, from pretty much anything to popular games to games you might not have heard before. Pretty much anything, really. And today we're going to talk about Elden Ring, a favorite of both of us.
Yep. Pretty. It's a pretty big one for me. Is what kind of got me into like that Souls-like genre. As it did for a lot of people. I mean, it was a very huge success for a game. But yeah, I mean, I personally had a lot of fun with this game. I'm gonna try not to say any spoilers right now. But okay, curious what your initial standpoint on it was, and then
Uh, s-
how it's changed.
well, okay, well, we can go ahead and get into, I
Oh
guess,
yeah.
what the game is. I mean, I'll go along with Tucker and say, yeah, I like the game as well. I played it. I didn't really have the best when I first started playing it, but that's something I'm going to get into. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and explain a bit about the game first. So, Elden Ring is a Souls-like game, or well, not Souls-like since it is a Souls game basically, because
Mm-hmm.
it's made by FromSoft. In case you guys don't know, FromSoft is a company that makes, well, Dark Souls games, basically. They made Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and then they made Sekiro?
It's Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Demon Souls, all the sorts.
Yeah, all the sorts. And Elden Ring is, I want to say, I really like it because it introduced a whole lot of people to the Dark Souls and Souls like games, which, everybody like probably took a look at before and was like, oh, I don't know, or tried it and like, this is hard. This kind of sucks. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. And I really liked that it did that. I really like that.
Yeah. And the reason it works so well as like an introduction was it. So Elden Ring essentially is easier in a way than other Souls games. Souls games are known for how hard they are and very punishing gameplay. Um, And Elden Ring kind of took that, and unlike being the other Souls games where they're more of a linear style, Elden Ring is it's an open world. Is a big open world game. So if you get stuck on a boss, you can skip it for now and come back to it. Whereas other games, you might not be able to do that. You might just have to suck it up. And so that made it a really good intro for people because it wasn't so demanding for skill. You could really go and practice with other things, different bosses, level up, make the game easier for yourself. But you could also be like if you do like that struggle of it, you can do that. Like it's not limited at all, especially with like weapon choices, gameplay style, all that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and butt in and say we forgot to do our little talk about how we've been doing.
Oh yeah, we did
So we can
forget
go
that.
ahead. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that real quick. Do you want to start us off, or I can?
Yeah, I can start.
Go ahead,
Um,
go ahead.
so I finished 100%ing Death Stranding recently. Um, Very fun game. I love that game. Uh, but other than that, I've been working on Frostpunk. I want 100% it. It's a very difficult one, but I'm getting through it. That's pretty much all I've been
Yeah,
doing.
dude, I heard that one is really hard.
Hmm.
Dude, I couldn't imagine that. And I heard, isn't Frostpunk 2 supposed to be worse?
I don't know yet. I've played a little bit of it. I can't say for sure, but it's definitely different, which is fun. But yeah, I guess I will see if I ever play it again on my PC or if I just wait till it comes out on console, like April. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh, it has a console release date.
Yeah, it's sometime
Okay,
in April, I believe.
hmm, that's good. Well, I might actually play it then. I don't know. I've seen like a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but I've seen a bit about the game. I haven't tried it myself though.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been super busy, so I haven't been playing a whole lot of games. But I have a lot of really cool games that I've well, not a lot, but I've been playing a couple cool games lately. Like one I recently got a few days ago is called Caves of Quud. I think that's how you say that. I'm not sure. It is a really cool RPG. I haven't played a whole lot of it yet, but it is a really cool game with everything you can do. Like one of the first things I did in the game was like go in. I made, I think it was just some random human character. And then I got the ability. I think it was called Beguile or whatever. And then, well, basically got in, game or whatever. And then I found a random. Oh, what was it called? I think they're called giant dragonfly. Yeah, and I turned it into my friend. And I can't remember what I named it, but it was fire. This game's cool as shit. There's so much stuff you can do in it. It's just, see, I really like the games of a crap, like a shit ton of freedom that you can just do whatever you want to do. That was really appealing to me in any video game. But other than that game, I've been playing. Well, I guess I've been playing a bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance lately. It's a game I've heard about. Obviously, I haven't played much of it. Haven't really tried, but I've been playing it lately, and it's a fun game. It's a little bit of a struggle, but what game isn't a little bit of a struggle these days? It's just hard to play. What? You literally start out with a peasant that knows absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So I guess we can go ahead and get back to Elden Ring then.
Yeah. I mean, so as you said, like games with a lot of freedom you really like. And I think that's what also helps with Elden Ring, because Elden Ring also has like a lot of freedom with it on your kind of your playstyle choice. Like they have a lot of leniency with how you, if you want to use magic, if you want to use a specific kind of weapon. All the weapons have different kind of not necessarily play styles, but different play styles in a way. Um, and there's a ton of stuff like that. It's really cool. I like it. It's different, especially for like Souls like games, because some of those like older Souls games, it's like you got a great sword or you don't. That's kind of how it feels sometimes. It's just like the same kind of speed of attacking for everything, same kind of damage. But yeah, Elden Ring's very versatile with that. You can there's so many weapons that are 2% drop chances on enemies, and there's a ton that aren't. And if you find them, cool. You don't, oh well. Yeah, are there any other like
There's not
comments for
like
versatility?
there's
Whatnot?
there's not like a whole lot of the drop chances, right? Because I know the bosses don't have drop chances, right? The bosses
No,
every time will drop what they
with
drop.
those like just normal basic enemies, a lot of the enemies that you can find and just encounter can drop like weapon or armor, and like there's a staff you can get from these like wizards in Liurnia, which is a place in the game. Um, and it's a 2% drop chance. It's crazy. I spent like 3 hours trying to get it, and I never used it.
Use them
But
more of like a decorative piece. Oh
yeah,
yeah, I
it
have
was
this
like,
now.
oh, I want to try that out so badly, and I didn't care for it. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I guess we can just say that at the end of it. Okay, never mind. Um, all right. Oh yeah, about the versatility is what you were saying of
Mm.
like the game, or
Yeah, just like the game mechanics, whatnot.
I think the mechanics in it are really cool. Like, I mean, it has the appeal that most Dark Souls or Souls like games have. That hey, I'm gonna throw my lifeless body at this boss for however long, however many times, and then you get that thrilling feeling of finally, hey, I know what you're gonna do, and then just destroying the boss, or
Mm.
you keep getting destroyed, which is the case a
Yeah,
lot of the
it
time.
happens. It happens. I've played a lot of Souls games, but I can say I'm not a pro. Um, I still am not
I
the best at it.
hate the DLC.
We'll get into that. We'll get into
We'll get
that.
into the deep dark hatred for the DLC.
Yes. Yeah, and one thing I do like is the bosses are very unique feeling. Um, a lot of the times you'll or with side bosses you'll find sometimes it's like the same boss but it's a little different, you know. But I mean, there's like what like 120 something bosses in the game. Most of and like there's like probably somewhere around like maybe 10 of them that are required. So it's like there's a ton of stuff you can do with those, and the bosses feel really unique every time you find a new boss. They've got their own little like quirk, I guess, on whether they have a weakness or not. You know, but I find them really cool. They've got some really interesting bosses. Um, Definitely some of my favorite bosses in like Souls games in general. They have, or like the boss musics as well. Like the Souls games are very notorious for having like good boss music, but like Elden Ring has some of my favorites in there. That's for sure.
And yeah, no, their music's almost on par with Risk of Rain 2 music.
Yeah,
Almost. Nobody
almost.
can compare to Risk
They
of Rain
can't
2
beat that final
music.
boss music. I don't know.
They can't. Mythic's music goes crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we could like talk about like the start of the game, I guess,
Yeah,
and
and
describe what like that is and the struggles of early game. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain my first experience I had with Elden Ring. So I heard a lot of friends talking about this game. Um and I've of course seen it everywhere when it came out. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try it. It looks pretty decent. So I tried it, I play it. So like when you get in the game, um there's this little tutorial area that you can completely skip by accident, which
hmm
I almost did. Almost. God. Okay, I guess it's not at the beginning because at the beginning you spawn in that little church area and then you have to fight the what is that boss called?
it's
I want to say
it's an oh
grafted something.
yeah grafted scion. That's what it is.
Grafted Scion, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you can win that fight, right? But then you
Oh
just
yeah.
go forward and then you just fall off a rock and then
Yeah.
you're just in the same place.
Either way, you die essentially. But yeah, you can beat him. You get a shield and a sword out of it. I don't know if they're any good. I've never really used them,
Mm.
but I
Yeah, a
don't use
lot of items in
shields.
this game just don't get used
Yeah,
unless they're like a weapon that everybody likes, like the Berserk sword.
yeah. There's plenty of those weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I
Um.
would like to talk about is so if you like story games, I wouldn't go for this. Um, you're not gonna
Yeah.
learn
What do you?
a you are not gonna learn a thing playing through this game unless you really pay attention and read every item description. Well, I guess
What do
it's
you mean? I.
less items descriptions for Elden Ring. Dark Souls is the
What do
one
you?
that has a lot of item descriptions.
What are you talking about, man? The story was amazing. The cutscenes,
Yeah, go on.
the
Tell me the story right now. Whole lore.
tarnished, go boom. That's basically it.
Yep, yeah, right. You got me there.
100% accurate. Okay, anyways, I want to keep going about how my first experience went.
Yeah.
So I was playing this game, right? I had nobody to help me. I didn't know this was a Souls like game or a Dark Souls game. I didn't know that. So I get to the first boss. Why am I struggling on his name? I know it. It's
Margit.
an M. Starts with Margit. Yeah, Margit. God, I fucking hate
The
Margit.
first
Well, he's not
required boss, not the first
required
boss.
boss, except after me throwing myself at the tree sentinel for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But then I just fought Margit for I think it was a very long time. I wasn't leveled up at all, which actually I want to say put emphasis on. One of the first things you should do when you play this game is level up a bit before you really try and kill any bosses.
I
Except for
mean,
that cave in Limgrave, right? There's that
which
cave.
cave?
The cave with the little wolf dude in there.
Oh yeah, the Beastman of Farum.
Yeah, Beastman Fair Zula. But yeah, so I beat Margit after a lot of time and not leveling up at all. And then I didn't know where to go in the castle and I didn't know how to progress. And then I just dropped the game from there. which I regretted doing obviously after I went back, finished the game, and played the DLC and stuff.
Hmm.
But I think this game makes it hard for new players, which I get is what Dark Souls is, and I'm not gonna say they need to make it easier for new players. They need to make the game easier in every way. But I feel like a little bit more help for newer players, or you know,
Yeah,
would be more
it's
helpful.
like people need like a guide almost. Like, because especially with Elden Ring and every Souls game, Souls like ever existing, they don't tell you a thing. You get in the game and they put you through hell, essentially. Um, they don't tell you nothing, and it's kind of rough. It's a rough start, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Um, I kind of had that experience with Elden Ring as well when I first played it. I played it the day after it came out, and I struggled a lot. It was a struggle because I had never played a Souls game at this time, so this was my first Souls game, and I I couldn't beat the first boss. I couldn't beat Margit. I ended up getting help through like a not a lot of the bosses, but like a chunk of them. I got help from my friends who also didn't know what they were doing. But the other problem was it was definitely my fault because I got really attached to wanting to do a dagger playthrough because I like daggers. But I was not skilled enough to use a dagger. And I didn't level up much. I It was a rough start. Like I didn't understand the leveling up. It was tough. And the other tough part was my friends were using sorcery builds, which are really good early game, but fall off late game. And I was using melee, which is kind of rough early game, depending on if you've played or not. And it gets better than sorcery for sure late game. But that's what I did. I struggled a lot for a while. I could play through the game fine, but it was a rough start for me.
Yeah, I'm glad I went back to it though.
Hmm.
It's a super fun game. All the bosses going through these areas, the joy of figuring out bosses' movesets, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
a good game, man.
it
Great
is.
game.
The other thing is
Yeah.
the map. The map is huge.
Oh
It is
God, the
open
map is
world,
fucking massive.
so go anywhere, anytime. Um, well, with limitations on story items,
Yeah,
But um, I remember playing through, and I'm just gonna talk about like some of the areas, whatnot.
yeah.
Um, but like starting in Limgrave and then being like, wow, this is a really big map. And then you find out, oh, Liurnia is over
Wait a
there.
minute.
Liurnia is even bigger. Like, and then it's like, oh, there's more. The
Yeah,
map
just
keeps
going,
adding,
huh?
adding, adding. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, huh? This isn't even the entire map. This is barely any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you start getting over. Well, you can go to oh God, I'm shorting on the name. The red area.
Kaled.
Kalid, yeah, Kalid, or just Hell.
Yes.
Early on, but you can't. No, you can go to Liurnia, right?
Yeah,
You
there's
can
a
go around the
there's
side
a side
path.
path. That's what I did when I first
Yeah.
played. I found that by accident.
That had to be amazing. I love that.
But yeah, even
Accidentally finding a way forward.
oh
But
yeah,
typically you go through the castle, right? And it's
yeah,
only because you have to kill Margit first. You have to go through the entire castle and get to Godric.
and then you kill Godric and you get spit out into Liurnia.
Yeah, not actually spit out.
It's
I
close
mean,
enough.
maybe.
But
I'm saying that because
yeah,
it's a Dark Souls game. People might actually think you get eaten and spit out.
yeah, that's true. I mean, there's still some weird stuff. There's like we'll talk about it. There's some weird like cutscenes on how you get to places, and it's odd. I will say.
I'm immediately thinking of the one where you go in a fucking coffin
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
casket.
thinking.
I think you just go down the fucking waterfall.
You get in a giant stone coffin, and it for some reason falls off the waterfall, and then you enter
Yeah,
in a new area. It's so weird.
and then you end up in, isn't it like some fucking galaxy area where you fight
You fight
no,
Estelle.
you
Well, there's two things. There's two coffins. So
all right, there is two. One leads you to the city
Noxtella
Noxtella, and the other one leads you to
should be Estelle, I think.
a Estelle fight. Yeah, Estelle's a really cool fight. That's so like it's so weird that that's underground. When I first saw clips of that, I'm like, that's weird. I don't know where that's gonna be. Maybe I'll fall unconscious or somewhere or something.
No, yeah,
No,
it's
you're
just
literally just underground fighting some natural god thing.
yeah, dude. I love that boss. That boss is so cool. I love the
He's
boss
cool.
design for that one.
It's pretty easy though. I love his spell. It's one of the best mage spells, right?
Yeah,
Whatever it's called. It's
Meteor of Estelle.
Meteor of Spell. Yeah, thank you.
I've played the game too many times.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I know. Dude.
but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into the DLC quite yet, but we can keep talking about the areas. So we've talked about Limgrave a bit, which is like the beginning area. You know, nice
Mhm.
foresty green. The enemies aren't super bad on Limgrave. You never see any enemies that can't be pretty easily dealt with. At least I don't want to say
Yeah,
easily.
it might
If
take a
you're
few
early game,
tries if you've never played or if like it's new. If you're just kind of new to that, but there are definitely
yeah,
like easier enemies there, and not to.
some
There is a boss right as you get out of the tutorial that it.
fight him. That's the first boss. That's the first boss. Fight him. Trust me.
Yeah, no, it's not. It will kick your ass. That is that.
He's not even that bad. You're just joking.
uh, how many hours?
Okay. Let's not talk about hours in video games.
Yeah.
Don't
But
talk to me about those weak and pathetic numbers.
yeah, it's just numbers.
Caelid
But
is
yeah, Caelid
a
is hell.
ruthless hell area. It's not
Yes,
like it's not the worst because there's like definitely areas that are
it's worse than
pretty freaking
Liurnia and
bad.
worse than Limgrave. That's for sure.
Yeah, but
It's
I
pretty
mean, its enemies
bad.
are bad. Yeah, the area is pretty hard to get through. You'll find bosses in random places. And then if you're trying
Yeah,
to go somewhere, you'll find 500 dragons just zooming around.
yeah, and the big one.
The big chunky one. And then there's the rot dragon near Radon's castle, right?
Yeah, there's a few actually.
There's a lot of named dragons in this game.
There are, yeah. But yeah,
Not even including the DLC ones, which there's like seven.
there's
I
a
don't know the
lot. It
actual
gets a
number.
little repetitive in the DLC, but like I
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, we love
the
dragons,
yes, we love
but
dragons.
I like a little variety too.
The like black fog dragons or whatever they are in the DLC are okay. Wait,
The
hold on. Let's not
ghost
talk
flame
about the
ones.
DLC yet.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, and then
um,
Altus, you can actually get to Altus, uh, early game, like pretty fast. You have to go find two medallions that are in two separate parts of the map. One's in Liurnia and one's in Caelid. But so Altus is kind of like your start to like end of mid game almost, kind of like it's kind of mid game in a way. Uh, so Altus is pretty chill, honestly. If you just ignore the bosses in Altus, it's not too bad. Like there's not a whole
there's not
ton.
even that many roaming bosses in Altus, right?
No, there's only a few. Because
I can't even think of any. I know the apostle, but you're not going to randomly stumble upon that just walking down a path.
I did.
You, what do you mean you did? They're up in a windmill village.
I
You're not
was
just
like,
gonna
oh
go.
man, this windmill village is cool. I wonder what's up there. And I got
Oh, a bunch of
murdered.
dancing ladies.
Yeah. But there's also I think it's Fortisax. There's a dragon. There's an electric dragon you can find somewhere. And also it's connected
Oh,
to Volcano Manor, which has its own
oh, there
stuff.
actually is the roaming boss. There's the boss. I guess people don't stumble upon it very often, but the dungeon outside, like the top entrance to the capital. If you know what I'm talking about, if you go down that path, you'll see the dungeon, and then there's the
Oh, that
Black
one.
Knife assassin waiting
Yeah.
outside. And then if you
Yeah.
go up the hill from there, I think like southeast, I believe,
Mhm.
from out I'm thinking, there's gonna be the big ass red dragon there.
Yeah. A lot of dragons, but dragons are cool. We love dragons.
Dragons are pretty neat.
Yeah. And then you get the one of my least favorite bosses in the game, the Draconic Tree Sentinel.
Ugh.
It gives me a run for my money every single time I fight him, no matter how many times I fought him. I struggle on
Yeah,
him a lot. He's a rough one. Um, yeah,
he's pretty bad.
then
I had help
yeah.
with him though, so it was. I mean, he was bad, but I had help.
hmm I've gotten to the point where I can kill him without help. Well, like without like summoning, but it takes a bit. It definitely takes a bit.
Yeah. Ugh.
That
Oh
is
my god. And
another
then
thing. Yeah.
oh, I was just gonna start talking about the way to the volcanic manor.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's
Oh
keep going
my
on maps.
god. Yeah, well, then we
Yeah,
can finish this map and
Mount
then we can talk
Gelmir.
about it. Mm, dude, getting to the volcanic manor is so fucking terrible.
It could be
But
worse. There
I
is
mean, it
worse.
could be worse,
There
but it
is
is
worse.
incredibly unenjoyable, and it is hard to find if you don't already know where it's at, the entrance.
Yeah, I don't know how I made it through that. I kind of just like wandered around and I eventually found it. But I don't honestly I couldn't tell you how I did it because I could not repeat that. Like I'm sure eventually I'd find it, but it's still like it gets me. It's
Well,
like
you have to go through the. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. We already said spoiler warning, and that there's gonna be spoilers.
there
But
it is,
there's
yeah.
like that. Yeah, there's like that lake beneath it, right? You go through there, then you go through the little valley under it.
You
Creek,
can.
creek cave. There's another way in.
There's a few ways in.
The
There's
fuck?
so Mount Gelmir. You go up and around the mountain, um, and you go past the Falling Star Beast, the adult Falling Star Beast.
I know where that is. I thought you have
Yeah,
to go under the water thing.
if
No,
you
under the
go
water thing puts you through
past,
the other entrance. Then the
hmm
star beam. I see what you're talking
yeah, the Star
about.
Beast. If you go past, you jump off a little like uh, protruding rock, and then you follow a path. But there's also a way through Liurnia in the academy. The what is that called again? I can't think of the name for that. But it's the academy in the middle of Liurnia. If you fall down an elevator, you get eaten by an enemy and you get teleported under the volcano manor,
What? I
which is
never knew that. That's fucking
it's so
crazy.
easy to miss. It is insanely easy to miss.
That is a lot of things in this game, dude. There's so many things like you have to go around. Like if you want to upgrade a lot of your weapons, you have to go collect these things called bell bearings.
Well, you don't necessarily
Oh
have to.
my
You need
god.
smithing stones
But
or
yeah,
somber
it's
smithing stones, depending on what your weapon is. And typically, you go get the bell bearing, which is like it's like how to access a shop essentially. And so you have a little shop in the round table, which is your like hub area. And there's a shop that you give the bell bearing to, and you can then buy stuff using that bell bearing essentially. So you can buy a bunch of smithing stones with specific bell bearings, making it a lot easier to level up weapons. It's kind of essential if you're not sticking to one weapon.
Yeah, a lot of people change weapons. So I had to get all the bell bearings again when I played the DLC because there's so many fucking cool weapons in the DLC,
Oh yeah, there are.
and they add all the new weapons as well. Okay, hold on. Let's. Well, actually, I guess we can talk about it. But the
Let's go
bad camp.
through the capital and mountain and the few
Yeah,
like uh random areas
other
left.
areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Alright.
the capital, to gain access to the capital, you need two runes, you need two great runes. Essentially, go kill two big story bosses. That's what you need to do. You
I didn't
can,
know you have to do that.
yeah, you have to, or else you can't get in the capital. After Draconic Tree Sentinel, um, there it will block you from entering if you don't have them.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So once you have those, you can get into the capital, which is a very cramped area compared to the rest of the game. Um, a lot of very mean
Uh,
enemies. Not fun.
in a very small
Yeah.
space.
But it's a pretty cool area though. It's got like that capital like feel to it. It's like the big city of the game, and it's got some cool spots with like there's like a giant dragon in the middle of it that has a huge thing with like the lore. I don't know it like an insane amount for the lore wise, but you get to like climb up the wing of the dragon and then through some like broken buildings and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I know the dragon. If you look for this spear, I know if you like wherever the dragon spear is, if you climb that, you'll
Mhm.
find the actual spear, the bolt of
Yeah,
Grand Sax. It's a
Grand
really cool
Sax. That's
weapon.
the one.
It's art of built in art of war, I guess, or ash of war,
Mhm.
or is it art?
It's Ash.
Ash. Okay, the built-in ash of war is like a red lightning bolt that you shoot out from it, which is super cool.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I don't know about its practicality, but
It's a pretty good
I
weapon. It's kind of expensive level wise because you have to meet a level requirement for weapons depending on the weapon. It's kind of a heavy level requirement for it, but otherwise it's a fun weapon. I'm not a huge fan of spears, um, but it's pretty good. And yeah, and going up and through the capital, I don't know. So capital bosses, I don't want to say too much about capital bosses because there's kind of a lot, but and kind of confusing with some of them. But essentially, you go through the capital, you kill the few bosses there, and you end up getting a key, or you get to the Erd tree, and then you learn some like story stuff on what you're supposed to do next, which I don't want to get into because it's kind of a long process. Um, and so essentially, you go through there, and then you get up to the mountain peaks, which are very very fun and
so what
definitely
I
not
say, the way to
annoying.
get to the mountaintops is also very confusing. The way you get
Oh yeah.
anywhere is confusing in
They
this
don't
game.
tell you anything. They give you a key and they're like, "All right, go find it. Mark it on your map,
Yeah,
but good luck getting there."
it's off like in the castle walls, and you have to go down the road and go the opposite direction you came, but not completely opposite.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Um,
But yeah, and then the mountain, I don't like hate the mountains, but I
it's
don't
not
like
fun.
going through them necessarily cuz it's kind of annoying cuz the enemies are kind of annoying. Or like there's the area you have to like walk across these thin platforms. Or not like thin, but it's thin platform.
Weird
Um,
mountain bridge thing.
yeah, while you're getting shot at by a dude with giant arrows. Um, that's interesting.
Two of them.
Yeah,
Two of them.
two of them. Yeah, that's true.
Two of them.
Yeah,
Giants with giant ass fucking arrows. Just pew 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 pew.
yeah. There's a ton of cool bosses in the mountaintops though. Like just like uh sub bosses, I guess. But the big boss in mountaintops is also pretty cool.
The fire giant, dude.
Yeah,
I think that's one of my like most favorite fights that I've seen in that game. He's so cool. He's hard though. He was hard. I was stuck on him. I think for
I
the longest out of
yeah
any story bosses in the game. Yeah, yeah,
I struggled on him a lot. I still do. He's got some like ones that are kind of hard to gauge when you're supposed to roll. Um, it's kind of hard to figure out, but he is a really cool boss. He's a two-stage boss. He's really fun.
yeah. Well, Elden Ring loves throwing in those little moves the boss does, especially if the DLC bosses. But like, how do I say it? Like they'll like aim their weapon up, and you're like, okay, I gotta dodge, and then they'll just stay there and then
Oh
just
yeah,
smack you right
they
after your dodge
hold
is
it. They
over.
hold it for so long sometimes. Margit has a move
Yeah.
like that. That is very.
I know exactly which one you're saying. He holds his
It's
little
really
staff
very
sword up
long.
and then just ho,
Yeah, he holds it up and then he waits for like 2 seconds and he puts his other hand on it. It waits for 2 seconds and then he swings. it's it's a pain.
Dude, it just fucking throws you off so bad.
Yeah. Or with bosses like Fire Giant is where like they're massive. And when you're attacking them, like you're hitting their feet essentially. It's hard to see what they're doing sometimes. And I've had experiences with other Souls games that do that a lot. Hint hint on Bloodborne that loves doing that, and it's a little annoying. I dislike that because you're fighting the camera more than the boss, essentially. But once you finally get through
Actual boss
Fire
fight
Giant,
was the devs all along.
it really is sometimes. Sometimes it is. Like they make the boss too dang big for a room that's too dang small. But once you finally get through that, don't worry, there's more. Now, I know this sounds like a lot. This is a long game. um,
Yeah, it's a very, very long game.
but yeah, so essentially you kill Fire Giant. You go do some stuff with your companion lady who you used to level up. Um, she gets set on fire, unimportant. Uh, but eventually, I don't even know how you necessarily get to Farum Azula.
You just kind of pop up there
Yeah, you just kind of take a nap and you
after
wake
the
up there.
yeah, you just go
Yeah, like I
and then you pop up
genuinely
there.
have no clue how you actually get there, but you end up there. And Farum Azula is a pain. Is a really cool area. Is a very cool area, but
Might
kind
I
of a pain.
say it has two very cool dragons.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, what's the second? I know the first
It
one.
might well, there's the big
Well,
one,
yeah.
Placidusax,
Yeah.
and then there's the Honk Me Me dragon, which is basically us. This is basically us. You know what I'm talking about? Or no, he's not sleeping, is he? Why did I
Which
think he was
dragon are
sleeping?
you talking about?
When you're progressing through Fair Missoula and then you get attacked by birds, and there's that big ass dragon just below
Oh, that
the
one. Yeah. There's the lightning. He's also a lightning dragon. Yeah, he's a. I hate that area. There's an area you have to run through with a lot of enemies. It's a pain. It is a pain.
that is most of Fair Missoula though. All
Yeah, there's a
fairness.
lot of Faramazula. It's a very cool, like aesthetically, it's a very cool place though. I like it a lot. Plus Placidusax,
I,
like the cutscene for Placidusax is crazy.
Placidusax is such a fucking cool boss. I'm gonna go ahead and explain this why we like Placidusax so much. First of all, his lore is insane. He's like a fucking badass dragon. He's the one that attacked the capital, right?
No, that was Grand Sax. So Grand Sax
Grand
is the
Sax.
body, like his
Oh,
dead body is at the capital. Placidusax is actually the technically the first um one of like the first like rulers of like the Elden Ring. Something around that. It could be wrong. It's been a while since I've touched up on the lore of it, but
okay.
yeah, essentially he was one of like the big rulers at a time, a long time
Hmm.
before our time in the game.
Yeah.
But like his cutscene is
So,
insane.
dude, it is fucking cool. So you find him. The people who are playing the game might know. Well, obviously, probably know where he is, but their little tower where you're going to fight. God, what's his name? Not Beast
Malekith.
Clergyman. Uh,
Malekith.
Malekith. Thank you. Where you're going to fight Malekith. There's that little tower. If you go down the elevator in it, of course, for where you're at, and you backtrack, and then towards the cliff straight out of the church. If you go to a little cliff somewhere along the left side, and you can jump down, keep parkouring down, and you'll get to this area. Then lay inside the grave, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
fall asleep and wake up in hell.
It's so
You're
weird. Like you just like walk up to this grave that's basically floating essentially, and you're just like, man, I gotta sleep there.
God, man, I'm feeling fucking tired.
Just take a nap and you wake up in this like alternate reality almost, because it like sends you back in time to when Placidus Axe was alive. It's so cool.
Yeah. The fight is just so cool. The way he pops up, then he has his little Radon meteor move.
Yeah, that's a pain. I don't like that move.
I haven't killed Placidus Axe, I don't think, actually, now that I think
Killed him a
about
few
it.
times. Yeah, and Placidus.
Yeah, I
Keep in
haven't. I
mind,
forgot.
he is not a required boss. He is very easy to miss. Like,
Yeah, incredibly easy. He's literally just in like a whole crack in the wall. Literally.
almost, yeah.
You just won't find him unless you
Unless you're looking
are
for
just
him.
lucky.
Looking
or
across
you know
every
where he's
single
at.
like edge of the map, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You want to go into how to get to Malekith, or not how to get to, but go through Malekith, why not?
yeah, let's not talk about the fight. So Malekith is a super cool fight. I think he's one of everybody's favorite fights, unless we're talking DLC, because there's some really cool bosses in the DLC.
Yeah.
But Malekith is fucking badass. So his first phase, you're thinking, oh, that's weird. It's just the beast clergyman. It's the little doggy dude you might have seen before.
Mhm.
Unless you rushed to this boss. Don't rush this game, any of you listening.
Don't do that. Ruining it.
That's bad. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. But you get through his first phase, which isn't his first phase isn't too bad.
It's a little
triggers
tough.
at-
He's very fast. Like his first phase is pretty
Yeah.
fast. But yeah, he's pretty squishy in his first phase though, so he takes a good amount of damage.
And his second phase is triggered at half health, I think.
Yeah, the coolest fucking cutscene you'll ever watch.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, death, become my blade once more.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool though. I love it. Insanely cool
Dude,
boss
yeah.
design.
I'm gonna explain. Well, I don't have to explain the cutscene, but basically, you think he's defeated, right? Or not really? You don't think he's
he's hurt.
defeated because he's at half HP, and you have knowledge and
Mhm.
understand this game fucking hates you. So then he stabs his hand. He pulls out a little knife and stabs his hand. What is that knife? The dagger, right? Isn't it?
So
it has the death rune in it, right?
There's the death rune's on the thing in his hand, the little like medallion thing. That's what it is.
Oh,
His dagger is, I think, there's nothing special.
Just a
special
dagger.
about it, But yeah,
And then he stabs the rune, destroying it, and then he becomes like this really fucking cool boss with like this black and gold armor.
yeah.
And then he's probably one of the fastest bosses, unless we're counting Mesmer.
Yeah. He is tough though. Like he is a hard boss. He is a really hard boss. You'll think you're like doing pretty good in the game, and you will get face checked by Malekith.
Yeah, he's a humbler
But-
of unknown proportions.
But once you finally get through him, it is such a good feeling. Like it's like, oh, it's so nice. Plus you get the
Dude, it's
cool
great.
ass cutscene stuff.
Yeah, and then you get to go to everybody's favorite area. Back to the capital.
Yeah,
But
it's
different.
But it's different now. It's all burnt down and shit.
It's destroyed because of you. You're the villain.
Yeah,
Don't
we
get it
did
wrong.
those.
In both the DLC and actual game, you are the villain. The Tarnished is the bad guy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, he just kind of came in here and killed everyone. And
Literally showed
whether it's
up,
for a good cause
burned.
depends on your ending you pick.
Yeah, you showed up, burned down the Erd tree, and just fucking killed all the demigods because you felt like it.
And the gods.
And the gods. You kill a god, just one god, right?
Yeah, just one.
I think. Yeah. So I get into their capital.
Yeah. Get to fight. What's his name again? Godfrey.
Well,
Not Godfrey.
Godfrey. Godfrey.
Oh shit! Hold on. It is. I think
What
it
is
is
his
Godfrey.
name?
Hold on.
No, there's the boss before Godfrey.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Gideon. That's who it is.
Gideon
It's
the
like I know it's with a G. Now this.
Gideon's gonna hit you with a yap fest the immediate second you get in there.
Yes.
My best suggestion: bitch slap his ass.
Immediately as he's yap session.
Yeah, immediately whoop his
No.
ass.
He may be a simple man, but he will humble you fast if you are not prepared, or if you are unlucky and have a bad weapon against him. Because
He's the
he
humbler
can be tough.
of unknown proportions.
As much as we like joked about you struggling so much on him, I understand.
Dude, he fucked me up when I played that. Dude, I was playing through that and he royally whooped my ass.
He does, like, and plus if you, because he's a NPC that you know beforehand, and you can talk to him about bosses. The more you talk to him, the more spells he knows. Like if you talk to him about like Melania, then he will know like some of Melania's spells, and it's like it's so cool.
Just crazy, dude.
Yeah, it just makes your life harder. Depending. Some of them are not too bad. But
yeah, then you go fight my goat, LeBron James.
Yeah. Godfrey has some cool attacks, especially in his second phase.
His Horaloo phase, which is his second phase, he literally has a LeBron move. He charges at you, picks you up, and just tosses you into not picks you up. He just kind of woofs you into the air.
Yeah.
And then you're just in there. He jumps up and fucking dunks your ass.
He does.
Literally,
so cool,
LeBron James.
that whole boss fight, it's like difficulty wise, he's kind of tough, but he has a really fun pattern. In a way,
Yeah,
his patterns are not like insanely hard to like figure out, but they're a little tough. He's a late game boss, so he's bound to be a little tough. But he's pretty cool.
I was gonna say he reminds me of a little 3-year-old throwing a tantrum by how much he stomps.
Yes, yes.
Dude, all of his moves are AoE stomp moves. It's cool though.
Get
I fucking
annoying.
love
You
it.
can actually jump over some of them, which is really cool.
You can. I know. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did jump them. I don't know. It's either that or dodge.
I started doing it on some of them. I didn't do all of them, but some of them I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can quickly talk. Oh wait, let's talk about the final again. I'm gonna say because if we want to talk about the DLC, we don't have a whole lot of time.
No, we're good. We can run through DLC pretty fast, and
Yeah,
we can go a
DLC
little
pretty
over time.
fast. A little overtime. Yeah, we'll be fine. There are a few things I want to say at the end of this podcast about some things, but we'll save that for that. We'll keep talking about Elden Ring. And do you want to start us off on the final boss, or I can?
He is very cool. So first, starting off, you fight a person you don't know this boss, but they are tough. They're a really hard boss. They're a 1-phase boss. Well, kind of. It's like technically a 2-phase because they learn new moves in the second phase, but there's no cutscene or anything. It's weird. I don't know how to classify that, but it is a very tough boss.
I call him the Humbler.
Yes.
I didn't interrupt you because he has this one move I love so much where he just grabs you and just smacks you against the ground and then just smack.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I've seen so many clips of people like attacking him, then get interrupted by his move and just slammed into the ground and then just
Yeah.
get their ass whooped.
Oh yeah, Radagon has some cool moves though. And you you finally beat Radagon and you're so happy and you get a cutscene.
Oh
You get a
no. This is
cutscene.
one of the least favorite ones because this isn't a half health different phase.
There's a
This is a
full
2
health bar.
health bar phase. So
Yeah,
you have to kill basically two bosses in one go,
yeah.
which is
No
fine.
dying. There's no checkpoint.
There is no
You
checkpoint.
kill
There's
one,
rarely
and
any
then you
checkpoints in
get
this game.
to the actual final boss, I guess, which is the Elden Beast, and one of the coolest bosses ever. It's in massive arena, which I will say gets very annoying at times. When you,
Cause he runs away
yeah,
like a bitch.
like you got him like two hit. It's like okay, I just gotta hit him twice. He's got some pretty like open attacks that I can get, and he keeps running away, and it's like, oh, gotta be kidding me.
Well, he really takes any opportunity he has to run away from you, especially when he's low. I had so
hmm
many moments like that when I was fighting him where he would just run the second I get him low. He just
hmm
dives in the little fucking water and runs away. Like the stupid fucking shark from Marvel Rivals.
Yes, yes. Um, that once you like struggle for so long and you finally beat him, it is like the biggest sigh of relief you'll ever have. The difficulty wise, I wouldn't say Elden Beast is necessarily hard, but he is difficult. It's a bit of an endurance test with the running away. Um, it's just kind of how it is. But yeah, otherwise, Elden Beast has some really cool moves, some fun ones to learn, especially like early in the fight. That he's got pretty good pattern you can kind of get down. Um, but yeah, after you beat them, you have beat the game and you get whatever ending you picked. Which there are three main endings. I will not get into them. They're cool, all in their own way. There's a few sub endings that are like the same but different. Technically, they're odd. They're for doing like niche side quest stuff for specific characters. But I don't know how do we. So I want to transition this through going into Moog and the DLC.
Yeah.
Um, I cannot think of how we get to Moog again. Oh, I remember. Um,
You have to do the quest with No Maidens, dude.
yeah, the No Maidens guy. I can't think of his name. Something with a
I
V.
can't think of his name
But
either. Hold up, I can look it up real quick.
alright. But essentially you go through this quest with this guy. There's two ways. You can go through a portal in a late game area that will take you to this area, or you can go through
Oh,
the quest line. Hmm?
his name is White Mask Vare.
It was a V. Yeah, that guy, I don't like him very much. Not a nice guy. Makes you do some really annoying stuff. But essentially, once you do all of his side quest stuff, you get teleported to the Mogwin Dynasty, which is the best grind spot in the game. It has the best grind spot in the game.
Those poor Albinarks.
Yeah.
How many of them have been sacrificed for my runes?
I would love to see a number of how many Albinarks have been killed.
There
That
was a number, right?
was
The
there?
Elden Ring released the number of enemies killed within the first few months of Elden Ring or something, right? And Albinarks were like number one by like shit tons of numbers.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what it was, but it is like it's got to be a huge amount. It's easily the best grind spot in the game. Um, but yeah, in the Mogwin Dynasty, you find a cool guy named Moog, who at first you may think is a kidnapper and a very weird guy. He's a little funny looking, but he's kind of a pain in the fight sometimes too. But he essentially has this weird egg thing that's got a person in it, and it's really weird lore stuff. You're gonna have to look it up if you want to know it. Um, but once you kill Moog, he's a side boss. He's not required. You get access to the DLC, which is a free DLC, right? You don't have to pay for it, right? I don't think so.
No, you do. You have to
Did
pay.
you?
You have to pay like 40,
Was
50
it?
bucks
Okay,
for
I
it.
couldn't remember. Not a free DLC.
Yeah,
It's been a
not a
while.
free
It's been a
DLC.
it's been a
Absolutely not.
while. It's like later this year, but or earlier this year. Um, the DLC though is very cool. It took them a while. It took them 2 years, 2.5 years to release it. Um, but honestly,
Okay,
worth the wait.
I have the number here.
Oh, you do?
So there's 197 billion enemies felled. It says,
Mm-hmm.
and number one is Albanarch with a club.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is the putrid corpse.
Okay.
Number three is the exiled soldier with a crossbow. And then number four is the Albanarchs, another version of the Albanarchs with the curved swords.
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
slaughtered.
They're fucking slaughtered.
Oh,
How high were they? Up by actually not that much.
no?
No, they had 9.4 billion, and then Putrid Corpse had 8.9 billion.
Well,
Deaths is interesting. I also just saw this, or boss attempts.
mm-hmm.
Can you guess which boss had the most attempts when the thing came out?
Probably Margit or Tree Sentinel.
Those are number 2 and 3, actually. Margit
Oh.
is 2 with 281 million, and the Tree Sentinel is 277 million. Third place.
Oh man, what would boss attempts? I don't think
Yeah.
people are dying to Rick that much.
No, go ahead and guess. This is interesting. This is fun.
Oh man, I don't know. Boss attempts. See, I gotta think early game. Cause I don't know. Fuck.
Eh?
I want to say the Beastman of Fire Mizula.
No.
No,
No,
okay.
he's not on there. He's not on there.
Alright, what is it? I can't. I don't know.
Are you sure they're late game bosses?
Oh. Malekith. Or Draconic Tree Sentinel.
No and no.
Really? Oh, you're gonna have to tell me because I have no clue.
Number 1 is Milena, Blade of
Oh, that would make sense.
329 million. Number 4 is Radagon at 148 million.
Okay.
And number 5 is Radon.
Okay. I see.
You know why number 5 is Radon? That was pre-nerf Radon, probably.
Probably. That's
to.
Dude, that was rough.
Pre-nerf Radon.
I did not beat that by myself. I had help.
By the way, big spoiler warning in what I'm about to say. Just keep that in mind.
Well,
big
yes.
DLC spoiler warning
Yes.
for what I'm about to say.
And we will have a talk about spoilers.
That's not even come on, man. I'm not that bad at it. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, I was gonna say we're talking about non-DLC Radon right now. There is a DLC Radon.
Just straight out front, like, yeah, spoiler warning. All right, here's a spoiler. Yeah.
That's why you say it, so they know.
I know, but I was thinking like, oh yeah, throughout the whole DLC, spoiler warning.
Oh well, yeah, of course, throughout the whole DLC.
Yeah.
Okay, we should get into that soon. We are approaching an hour.
Yeah. Let's go through DLC. First thought through the DLC, you get the coolest just coolest landscape
opening
ever.
cussing.
Like, it is so cool.
Dude, it's so fucking cool.
It is awesome.
Then you go forward 10 feet and get immediately jumped by an enemy.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you just get jumped.
So the DLC adds something that's kind of cool. They have these little items that you get that are kind of like leveling up. They make you do more damage against the bosses and makes you more resilient against the bosses. And it's their way of balancing so that it's kind of like a new game experience for even high level players. They're technically pronounced shadow trees, We pronounced some Skadu tree for the longest time.
Oh, I was saying skidoo
Yeah,
tree.
oh, that's Skadu fragments. Yeah,
Skidoo-doos.
yeah, Shadu, Skadu, Skibby. I don't know, whatever. But
Did you say skibbity?
yes,
All right, we're
I've heard
done. We're
someone
done.
say it.
The skibbity fragments.
Yes, I've heard it. I've heard it. But essentially, you need the. You don't need them, but you're gonna want them. And they make you stronger against the bosses, and is it's needed. It's needed because the bosses are really tough in the DLC. Um, well, yeah, we'll have to talk about Mesmer because that was one thing. Oh yeah, we never talked about summons, which is a big thing. So you can
Oh,
get
yeah.
summons in the game. It's essentially like it's like throwing out a Pokeball essentially, and just saying, "Go beat that guy up. Help me." Um, the summons, a lot of them suck. A lot of them suck. You find them throughout the world. Different enemies you can summon. The best one is you find one late, like kind of mid game, I guess. It's the mimic tier. It's essentially a copy of yourself. It is easily the best one because it uses all your weapons, and so it does a lot of damage.
Just saying, you have the guts build with the berserk sword,
Oh
and
yeah,
you have mimic. It is so fire,
it is.
especially with the new lion's claw that is in the DLC, where you do 2 spins.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Or it's not 2 spins; it's just a follow up move, right?
Yeah, you
And
just do
but
it
each
twice
one of them
essentially.
does slightly less damage.
Mm-hmm.
But in total, it's more because first off, the attack is faster and it happens better,
Yes.
or two times. I'm gonna quickly talk about the DLC bosses, so we can quickly get through that. So first off, it really depends where you go, but I'm pretty sure the first boss you fight is the weird little lion. I think they said it's based off the Japanese little dragon things with all the people under it.
Mm-hmm. It's the
Is what it's
divine
based
beast.
off of.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, Divine Beast, Dancing Lion, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool boss fight
Oh
because
yeah.
during the fight it'll switch between cold and like frost and lightning,
Yeah.
which is super fucking cool. He's a cool
It's
boss.
a
He's pretty
very
hard though.
very cinematic fight. Also,
Yeah.
I think Divine Beast has some of my favorite music in like all of Souls games. Definitely, it's like high up on my list. I love the music in that boss. Yeah, and just so we don't repeat it a million times, all the bosses in the DLC are really hard.
All of them are insanely fucking hard.
Even the side
Almost
ones.
all of
Like,
them are just like harder than the entire main game itself.
yeah.
Like incredibly fucking difficulty. Or hard, I meant.
But yeah,
Speaking of one of those, the next boss you fight after you go through this weird little castle bullshit that feels like a maze, you're gonna meet Renala. Renala?
Rolana.
Rolana, my bad.
Hmm.
She's a bitch.
Yes.
Um,
Very tough one.
she is twin swords, which is a really cool one of my favorite DLC weapons when you kill her is when you get it.
Hmm.
Um, these weapons are so fucking cool. But her fighting her is so annoying because she's a fast boss, but she's not insanely fast. You
Facts.
know, she's
It's
not
hard to
Mesmer
tell what
level.
she's doing because
Yeah,
not like a huge boss. It's like just a person with two swords essentially, and it's kind of tough. She has long combos too, very small attack windows, and is
yeah.
especially rough in phase two. Because if you don't know how to dodge the moon attack, then ugh, it's rough.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
There's a bad combo. I think they might have patched it by now, but there's a bad combo you can get with her double moon attack and then some ranged. Where if you try and dodge the ranged attack, you're gonna get hit by the moon. If you get hit by the little daggers, you're gonna get stuck in the combo.
Hmm.
And there's nothing you can do about it. That is just an instant death move with that.
Yes.
Um, so her fight sucks. Her armor and weapon is cool after you finally kill her.
Hmm.
And then you go through and move on to Hippo,
Yeah, I think Hippo.
right? The fat. Yeah, the fat hippo, which
the
is
the
just another
porcupine hippo.
fucking
Yeah.
yeah, just screeching hell boss fight,
That
dude.
boss has a lot of grapple attacks that are really annoying to dodge sometimes. I dislike that boss a lot. At least fighting it. It's a cool boss, but it's not fun to fight.
Has fucking crazy moves. And then you move after you finally defeat that boss. You move through this hell castle, and I
Yeah,
can't put enough emphasis on hell
there's
castle.
a lot of going up and doing a lot of parkour stuff that's really sketchy, and you really don't want to repeat if you die.
Yeah, then you come across our Lord and Savior Mesmer. The
Yeah,
boss fight that I found the hardest in the DLC. I guess actually, no, not hardest since I still haven't
second
beat the final boss yet.
second hard.
Second hardest is Mesmer, which
Yeah,
is a super cool boss. So in Volcano Manor that we were talking about earlier, there's a fight there. The final boss fight of it, and his name, what's his name again?
right card.
Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his son is Mesmer. So Mesmer is also kind of a snake, but not a
He's
snake.
got some like snake moves.
Yeah, his that's his second phase, which is so annoying. His second
Yeah,
phase is so fucking fast.
it is.
Like you don't like the attacks per second in this game is crazy compared to any game I've seen before in my life.
Mm-hmm. And Mesmer is a
Like
struggle.
specifically during the DLC, it's 10 times worse because Mesmer dishes out an attack literally every moment there's a time to dish out an attack. You have no punish time unless you somehow what's it called? Stun is not stunning. Um
Oh,
rip
oh, hold
rip
on.
rip rip
Stance break.
what the fuck? Stance break them, yes.
And then you get
Which
the
is
chance to
really
riposte, which is yeah.
yeah, and then you get the chance to repose. So Mesmer is a fun but really hard boss fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and to kind of like speed through bosses or speed through this a little more. Um some other really cool bosses. Bale is like an insanely cool boss. He's a giant dragon. I really wish he had
He's
a
cool.
cutscene. If he had a cutscene, it would make me so happy.
Curse you,
Yeah,
Bale. Dude, I love that
yeah,
tune
and that
so
which you've
much.
probably heard before. But there's an NPC where if you do his quest line, he goes through a whole monologue.
Yeah, you will rue the very day.
Yeah,
I love that
it's
dude
so
so
cool.
much.
But yeah, other than Bale, who else is there? You have the Romina,
Um,
which the centipede lady.
Romina, which is another one of the story DLC bosses that you have to fight.
Mm-hmm. And then I think final.
There's the Lord of Frenzied Flame.
Yeah, the,
There's the Dragon Katana
yeah,
Sword dude, which is cool, I guess.
yeah. There's a lot of really cool side bosses, which we're gonna try not to go too far into because we're kind of running low on time. Um,
Yeah,
but essentially, the Romina, she's very cool. She's got kind of like a centipede, half centipede, half person kind of vibe. Um, and she's got some fun attacks. She's kind of a pain at times because you don't know how to dodge some of the things. At least I didn't. But overall, she's a pretty cool boss. Um,
yeah.
and then we got the journey to the final boss.
Oh, the
Not
way you
fun.
have to go up through this is hell. It's gonna take you so many attempts, and trying to fight every enemy you meet across the way is terrible.
Yeah, it's not even worth trying. It's just run and hope you don't get
Just
hit.
run past. Yeah,
It
I don't
is
know.
tough.
I know some of our friends killed the little lion-headed enemies,
Yeah, I didn't.
the divine beast sub-enemy things,
I,
because I know they don't respawn. They're considered a mini boss.
yeah, kind of. They don't have a boss health bar, but yeah, they don't respawn if you kill them. Which I
Yeah.
just, I don't wanna. I didn't
Didn't want to
wanna.
waste my time with it.
Yeah, so I just ran
Then you
past
go
them.
through some really cool cutscene with all the characters you meet in the DLC. There go. You weren't following the path of what was it like freeing Mikola or something. You
Yeah.
were following the path of the Erd tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which the whole
And
reason you're
then you,
there is to save Mikola, I guess, was why we went there, I
but
think.
not
Not
really,
really. Why did we
because
go
we
there?
didn't.
We just kind of went there, and everyone was
We
telling
just
us.
went there because we wanted to go there. You know, it's like fuck, why not, dude? Let's go
Mm,
fuck some shit up.
I guess yeah, yeah, because Mikola's just kind of there. Um,
Yeah. So then you slaughter all your friends you've met along the way.
yeah,
Um,
which is not easy. You'd think it would be
it
easy.
wasn't too bad, honestly. It took me a few attempts, but
Yeah, it
that
wasn't
wasn't too bad.
insanely hard, but it was a little rough.
And then you move on
Then you get plot twisted.
to the final boss, Radon.
Yeah.
The final DLC boss. It's different Radon
Yeah,
though.
this
It is
is
consort of Michaela Radon.
yeah, it's consorted. Yeah, it's consorted redundant, something like that. Cause something of the sorts. Um,
Yeah,
but
dude.
yeah, it's Radon in his like prime age. It's not Radon in the main game. It's like old Radon, I guess.
Yeah, I can wholeheartedly say this is the hardest. He was the hardest. I actually haven't killed him yet. He's the hardest boss I've ever fought in a video game.
I would say
Can
yeah,
I say that?
I agree.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, he's fucking hard,
He
dude.
is hard, very hard. No forgiveness in that boss. Um,
He doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't care about
yeah.
anything, man.
The only reason I beat the boss is because I didn't cheese it, but I used kind of a cheesy build with it. And I don't like that I did that. And I do plan on replaying through the DLC. No summons, just trying to get through it. I do want to beat it just by myself with no summons and no cheesing. I just do my own thing. But that's for the future. I'm working on things at the moment. But yeah,
Yeah, well, there's such games and stuff. I still haven't defeated him. I plan on it, but I just haven't.
he is a rough one. That is for sure. Very rough boss.
I- I'm gonna complain about the ending of this game because there's not really an ending,
I am
or
yes.
for the DLC at
Yes.
least.
Please complain. I'm disappointed in it too.
Yeah, because I've seen it because there's not much on it, but you basically, I mean, there's fucking nothing to it really.
Yeah. You literally get nothing. You kill the boss and you get like I guess a cutscene, but it doesn't do anything. Like
It doesn't describe
there's no
anything or help any of the
explanation, there's
things you're.
nothing with your character, nothing with the world. It's just kind of congratulations, you did it. How do you feel? And it's like
That is one of my complaints about this game. Is that part
yeah,
of the DLC?
that was very disappointing. I don't know what they would do, but like I'd like something, you know. I was very disappointed with that. Otherwise, I was pretty happy. But that being
Uh,
the end of the DLC, there any final
I
points you have?
Um, I mean, not really. Except I do hate the fact that a lot of people hate on different builds in this game.
Yeah,
Which I'm just gonna say, if you're one of those people that's like, oh, you play a magic build, oh, you play this build, oh, you use the big sword, which I don't think anybody really hates on that one. That one's just
it's
cool.
fun.
But if you hate on a build because you think it's just overpowered or something, or you hate someone because they're using summons, or like, oh, you didn't really get the full experience of the DLC because you use summons. Dude, like, come off of it, man.
Yeah,
Like, I get if you want to do that to challenge yourself on your own, do it.
yeah, that's
But
what I
hating
did.
on others because they're doing it is really annoying.
Yeah, I
And
don't get that. There's a lot of hate in like I guess the online part of Elden Ring in like people like especially content wise because you'll see people playing through it for the first time and people will make fun of like a YouTuber using Rivers of Blood when it was like overpowered. And it's like, man, just let people play the game, you know?
yeah. All right. Well, we ready to move on?
Yeah, I think we're ready to give our rating.
All right. It is review time.
Yes.
Hooray. Um, I guess whichever one of us wants to get
Oh,
started
you
can
start.
go.
You start.
Yeah, let me start. All right. I am gonna go ahead and give. Okay, hold on. Let me go over a review about our reviews real quick. So for the review, me and Tucker will each give it a rating out of 0 to 5, and then we're gonna combine it together for our full rating out of 10 stars. Obviously 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest,
Mm-hmm.
or no, 0 being the lowest, obviously. But I don't think we're gonna give a game a 0.
All right, no.
That's how that works. So we're gonna say a review, then we're gonna kind of explain why we gave it that or what we did. So on with that, I'm gonna give Elden Ring 4.6. 4.6 stars. See, I love the game. I think a lot about it is perfect in the way it does stuff. I love the combat. I love the feel of it. I love the graphics. Um, but my few complaints I have are the story's really hard to get, which I guess shouldn't be a complaint. If people wanted to play this game for okay, sorry. Just what annoys me about it is they have like story in it, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't make it easily accessible.
No, you gotta dig for it. It's hard to
Yeah, you have
find.
to really dig for it. But and then my one other problem was the issue with getting new players to this or even trying to play the DLC,
Mm.
which I know people are gonna say, well, just get to that area. I'm like, sure, you can get to that area. It's hard, but it's not insanely hard. Um, but like if you're buying this game and you just want to get right to the DLC, that's not an option for you.
Yeah, no.
That's yeah, it's not really possible for you, man. Um, but yep, and that is why I gave it a 4.6 for me.
Yeah, and I would give this I'd give Elden Ring a I'd say 4.5. My reason for that, I guess my downside part of it. I love the game, amazing game. Um, my I guess my complaints are close to the same. The story, I've dug into the story. I've went through it. I really like it. It's a cool story. It is a very advanced story. But yeah, that's just unless you go find a YouTube video explaining the story, you won't. Good luck finding it, because there's not much there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I guess one of my other big things is so they do have a lot of weapon variety, but a lot of the weapons that you can get are kind of boring. Uh,
Bummy, hard to use. A lot of the DLC, sorry, but the DLC stuff, they added a bunch of interesting weapons like martial
yeah.
arts and backhanded weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They all kind of suck.
They do. They've got their own uses, but some of them just suck. Like I do wish they were better, or like you could change the Ash of War on them, or because somber weapons you can't, but sometimes I wish you could. Or in the main game, there's a lot of weapons, like really cool weapons that you can find that are just kind of like meh. They're not very good. They're not very flashy at all. Which isn't like a huge disappointment in my part. There is still an insane amount, but it's just a small thing. And yeah, and then everything else is kind of falling off what Dylan said. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that puts us.
So,
What's that put it at?
9.1 stars for the official Sleeping Dragons game review score.
Yes,
9.1 stars for Elden Ring.
yes, would
Which
recommend.
obviously we are the best reviewers out there, this being our first game we reviewed.
Yeah, if you've never played it, now you have to. Like that's how
Yes.
the world works.
So that's our final review. I don't really have any touching thoughts, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about the podcast real quick before we finish this up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about first off, this podcast is now actually, instead of what we said in the intro, probably going to be weekly. Can you believe?
Yeah,
Because we enjoy doing this. This is fun. We love talking about this. So expect it weekly. We're not going to have a set day that it's going to get out there.
yeah, we're gonna try to on like Sundays, like typically Sundays.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, again, we have our own things going on. So if it's a little delayed, please don't yell at us for it because I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be what it is.
Yeah,
That's that.
but yeah, And then
I was going to say something else. Oh, about the duration. As you guys can probably tell, we've went a little bit further than we said we would, where we said it's probably going to be around 45 minutes to an hour. As we're about 20 minutes over an hour.
yeah, which I mean,
Um,
the game. It's such a big game. It was hard
yeah,
not to.
there's so much to talk about.
And we do not rehearse for this kind of stuff. So
Yeah. We get in here and we talk about it. This is fun. We love doing this.
Yeah.
If you have anything to say, I don't really know how many people saw this. I saw
yeah.
this. We only got 11 views on the last video, but you know what, man?
Oh yeah.
We enjoy
Hey,
this. We're gonna
that's
keep doing
more
it.
than we had.
Exactly.
I'll take it.
And 1 subscriber.
Yeah.
I looked at the analytics, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and the average watch time of the video was 50 seconds, which meaning nobody saw the entire episode.
Or it was me looking at it.
That too.
Unimportant. Oh,
You know, maybe
I
more people
do
will
have
like
one
this.
thing. So a sneak peek
Yeah,
on
go
what
ahead.
our next one will be. So
Oh,
we are going to be
yeah.
talking about Power Wash Simulator. Now you might be thinking that came out of left field from what we just talked about. But we really want to like show that we are going to be talking about random games essentially.
Completely random. It could be a popular game that you've all heard, or something like Power Washing Simulator. You guys might have heard
Yeah,
of Power
or
Washing
like
Simulator.
Foxhole or Lies of P or like these niche games that like you maybe not have heard of. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna be talking about Power Wash Simulator. That one will definitely not be an hour and 20 minutes.
That one's probably going to be more around 40
Yeah,
to 50 minutes we thought our podcast was going to be.
yeah, but that one I'm excited to record. But yeah, that's my last thought on it. You know,
I know there's something else I wanted to say earlier, but now I can't think about it. So, doesn't matter. Oh, yes, actually, there's something I want to talk about. As you can tell, my mic quality has gotten a little bit better. Because I ordered a mic and Tucker has one coming in as well.
Mhm.
So next podcast we're gonna have a lot better quality on both sides,
yes,
which is exciting.
yes, very exciting.
Hooray! And we'll be professional, guys. Come on.
Yeah, well, we're already professional.
Yeah, we're already
Doing this
experts
for
at
years.
Super popular. Doing this for decades. I do want to say, if you guys have anything to say, anything like, if you guys did this, or, any helpful thing you want to say or whatever, or just anything, we'd love to see. So
Yes,
if anybody does actually watch this whole thing, just let us know. We'd love to see what you say, see what you think.
it would boost our morale so much. I could not tell you.
Please, please.
I mean, we're having fun. It's
All
not
right.
grueling, but
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're done.
yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a wrap. And I'll see you guys next week
Yeah.
on Sleeping Dragon Reviews. All right. See you guys.
Bye bye.